Hi, hallo und herzlich willkommen, meine Damen, meine Herren.
Hello, everybody.
Willkommen in Berlin, willkommen in einem warmen Berlin.
Absolutely. Welcome, everybody. It's great to see you. Welcome this morning for the 4th edition of the Design Europa Award. It's great to see you here, live in Berlin, but also on the screens. Thank you for joining us today.
My name is Conny Schumacher, and together with my wonderful colleague, Kati Gallos, we'll be accompanying you this morning throughout the ceremony. And it is a real pleasure to welcome all of you here. And not only is Berlin great, but this convention center, Axica, is really an icon of design. And I think Berlin can be proud to actually host such a convention center. And the question is, of course, what better place to pay tribute to some of the best European designers? And we're going to find out who those are in the course of the morning.
Indeed, it is truly an experience to be here, so look around. This place is designed by the world-renowned architect Frank O'Geary, and this building also expresses the perfect interplay between organic and symmetrical design, bringing together different shapes, different worlds, and I'm sure you agree that this is the perfect place for our morning today. Celebrating great design coming from all over Europe, coming from different perspectives, from different backgrounds. So thank you to the organizers for making it possible that we could be here today. As this year's edition of the Design Europa Awards has been organized by the European Union Intellectual Property Office, the EU IPO, and is co-hosted by the German Federal Ministry of Justice.
And by the way, of course, we're not alone. We have a number of guests on the screens, on their individual screens. So wherever you're watching us from, whether it be Spain, Italy, the northern countries, or from all around the world, you're, of course, very welcome as well. Today, of course, we're going to recognize and to celebrate great design. And of course, I'm quite sure that if, as a journalist, I made an inquiry here and that everybody would define design and good design in a different shape, form, or manner. But I think the jury has done a great job to bring all of the people together. They had 700 projects that they looked at, quite a number. And today we see that the 8 finalists, i.e. 4 in each category, in the smaller and emerging companies and in the industry category, are going to be presented to you. And then, of course, as in the Highlander, there can only be one.
We will look into that in a moment, Connie. Let's also welcome our special guests today. We are pleased to have the pleasure of the presence of presidents, directors generals, and representatives of intellectual properties offices from all over Europe, but also from around the world. We have Monsieur Christian Archambault, the executive director representing the EU IPO, with us. Thank you so much, and also let's also thank the staff of the Federal Ministry of Justice and the EU IPO who have given their support and the assistance, of course, in organizing the event of today. A special mention also goes to the Bureau of European Design Associations, represented by Isabelle Verillac, the former Bureau of Europa Design Awards president, for invaluable support, of course, throughout. Thank you very much. Merci. And in the spirit of cooperation and working together and making this a beautiful event together, we thank the European Union Intellectual Property Network of national and regional intellectual property offices, which have been, of course, instrumental in their very strong support to the design community to bring everybody together as a whole, and especially for the Design Europa Awards. We are also very grateful for the participation of intellectual property business and design associations from, as I mentioned, around the world, around Europe, and of course a special thank you, and you mentioned it already, Connie, a special thank you goes to the jury. So please give them a big round of applause, because to bring everybody together, absolutely, and then to filter out who will win today, that is a tough work. And we're going to know who's going to be the finalists, but of course who's going to be the winner of today.
And of course, at the end, we're going to have a very special guest, a very special awardee, the Lifetime Achievement Award. And in the first row, we already see Mary Bengtson, so I think it's known everywhere, so this is not a secret that I'm sharing here now. And you will have to wait a little bit to come up on stage, but we can already say we are very much looking forward to hearing and to seeing what you've done.
Absolutely. I think
I should continue, but yeah.
We are excited here, as you mentioned, and
right.
There's a lot of curiosity in the air.
That's
right.
right. Now we're talking about great design, but then of course there's a question: how do you protect it? It's quite nice to have great ideas, but as we know, great ideas can be imitated very quickly. And there is a very important institution, the Registered Community Design, or RCD, and we would like to share with you how they are actually working. And we're going to see the video now.
Design is essential to Europe, supporting jobs, growing our economy, and powering our trade with the rest of the world. Design adds value. Design-intensive industries are important motors of European prosperity and growth. They contribute nearly 2.1 trillion euro to the EU's GDP. And they support over 27 million jobs. Since 2003, thousands of companies and individuals have turned to the Registered Community Design to protect their vital business assets across the European Union. The Registered Community Design is administered by the European Union Intellectual Property Office, the EU IPO, a decentralised agency of the EU based in Alicante, Spain. One single registration, done online, means a design is protected in all EU member states. In as little as 48 hours, you can get a design registered via an efficient, business-friendly online filing system in 23 EU languages. Great design is more than just a great idea. Behind every design that comes on the market is effort, investment, and innovation. To date, the EU IPO has registered more than 2 million designs from nearly every country and region in the world. The Registered Community Design is supported by powerful, free design search and classification tools like Design View and Design Class to help businesses manage their design applications more easily. The Registered Community Design is for industry and for small companies, as well as individual designers. The EU IPO SME Fund now offers a 75% reduction of the basic fee for smaller businesses to support them as well as the economy in the European Union. The Registered Community Design is a unitary intellectual property right that assists companies, employment and growth. In every part of our European Union, it is an important business asset for jobs, for prosperity, for Europe.
So, are you getting curious? Are you getting curious? Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. And you're still awake. That's good.
The climax is still building up. So we've just heard what we're here for, celebrating this great design. Now, of course, we want to hear more about the jury, because as we mentioned, it's been a tremendous work to find the finalists and then to decide who will be the winner, right?
Absolutely, and the jury did a great job, as you know. It was chaired by Isabelle Verillac, thank you very much, by the former president of the Bureau of European Design Associations, and you were actually herding cats, weren't you? I mean, like so many different trades, so many different professions, 12 people trying to get together. They had different capabilities, they had different perspectives. Quite sure it wasn't that easy, but All of the people in the jury, of course, have a big background in industry design and intellectual property. And of course, with that, they became the best team for a great job. Let's just have a peek view of what they actually did.
Good design is something that makes a positive difference in the world. That could be to people, that could be to the planet, or ideally both. But it wants to be something that's looking to make a positive impact, not just something that looks pretty, but something that really affects the way that we live and the way that we go about our daily lives.
We are very lucky to have a wonderful jury with expertise from IPR sector and expertise from different approaches to design as well. So what it means is that we have a really lively discussion, good arguments on this side, on that side. So definitely the decisions are based on a very thorough discussion.
It's always really difficult to judge these kind of prizes. The entries are so diverse.
We are considering the marketing impact, the environmental impact, the novelty and the ability of these designs to inspire a new generation of designers.
And by the way, just in case you're losing your job, you could also serve as great models for a great ad campaign, whatever it's for, but it looked really nice.
Absolutely. But the work of mentioned was tremendous, and I did bring some facts on stage. So they've looked at almost 700 applications from 43 different countries, right? That's a lot. And to shortlist the applications, because one thing is, of course, to get all and receive all the applications, but then to shortlist the applications, the EU IPO experts considered some categories and some criteria. Formal aspects of registered community designs, the market impact, the marketing factors of the companies, of course, and then they conducted an assessment of the design and other intellectual property rights management. And then the jury came into place. The jury then considered the design's aesthetic value, the impact on the market, the social and human impact, amongst other factors. But then, of course, also one thing is to recognize the design among the different finalists, but then which one is the leading factor between sustainability and the encouragement to bring the design together with an inclusive environment and also with a diverse environment. So bringing all these factors together, that was the tremendous work of the jury.
So that just leaves me to say congratulations on a job well done, and I think we need another round of applause.
Thank you so much for doing this work. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready, right, Connie?
I am.
Absolutely. So we start into our first category of this year's award this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, be ready for small and emerging companies, SMEs. Our 4 finalists today are small or emerging companies or have been recently established. And at the best times, you know that, SMEs, they can face these tough challenges. But we are living in these headlines of crises. Every time, every morning when we go through our news feed, we do get the news. COVID-19 and the COVID-19 pandemic was a tough challenge for a lot of SMEs, followed, of course, closely by the energy crisis and the very high inflation rates that we are currently in. And all of that have made it very difficult for the small and emerging companies everywhere. So this award in this category takes a significant meaning for the SMEs today.
And I think we've already seen it in the film. They are very resilient. They are very creative, and of course with that creativity spreading through Europe, it's that which differentiates us maybe from other continents. We've got to keep our nose ahead. 99% of all the economic output is actually derived by small and medium-sized companies, and that's quite a bit. And in addition to that, they are actually the engine room. Without them, we wouldn't do it. I mean, the big companies couldn't do what they're doing without the small and medium-sized companies. But of course, every administrative aspect is much more important, much more impactful for smaller companies. So, very good, congratulations. 3 years running, you've created a fund, EU IPO, together with the European Commission, and that is actually helping the small and medium-sized companies to deal with all the challenges that are out there as far as actually registering the devices are concerned.
Absolutely. So I think we are ready for the finalists of this category. Connie, what do you think?
Absolutely. Let's get started. We said 4, so number 1. Number 1 is Jazzy, and I love it because it's got to do with food, and it's very innovative, and I'm not going to say anything more because you're going to see that now.
First phase of the pandemic period, we were not able to use the canteen service, so everybody was taking a sandwich or a prepackaged meal, and we were not so pleased with that. So why don't we think about a tool able to cook in an easy way, but tasty meal? You go to the app, you choose the recipe you want, read the raw inside, you close it, open the valve, put it in the microwave for 6 minutes, then you take it out, close the valve and let it outside for 15-20 minutes. In this moment, it takes place the pasteurization and the vacuum is created. This lets you conserve your food in the freezer for up to 15 days. This is the first prototype of Justy. And then Maurizio was telling, but you have to make it square in order to save space, and you have to make it ergonomic in order not to ruin the other item you've got in your bag. And it has to be nice to touch it because you have to use it for it.
Citando un grandissimo architetto che è Gaio Lenti, il buon design deriva dalle buone domande. Tutti i particolari che vedi, che sembrano dei particolari decorativi, in effetti sono dei particolari tecnici, perché rimanendo nella sezione del cubo abbiamo dovuto fare questi tagli per mettere per esempio i ganci, che se tu guardi in pianta rimangono sempre in questo cubo ideale. Quindi questo oggettino qua, che sembra così semplice, così facile, in effetti è il frutto di una serie di domande precise, tecniche, che mi fece Luca e che paradossalmente hanno portato da solo al risultato estetico.
With one tool you cook, you conserve, you transport and you eat. Justy is not just a lunchbox. This is a different way to think the kitchen.
Coming to our second finalist, where are my fellow coffee lovers? Hands up. Oh, hello there. I have good news for you. The second finalist is for our passion, making coffee. It's called the Mindful Design Coffee Brew, a porcelain filter set for the manual preparation of coffee, which involves then the pour-over method. Let's see what's brewing.
When I prepare my coffee in the morning, I take my time and I also value what's behind. You enjoy it with all your senses. You hear the coffee flowing through, you smell the wonderful flavors. I'm having and enjoying it really in its purest, as in the form of pour over filter coffee.
I was curious about this item. I always wanted to have something built locally and designed locally. But I wanted to have influence, so not only looking good, it should like brew brilliant coffee. So Petra brought different ideas of how the holes on the bottom of this item can be done. And so I tested it in a blind cupping. So we brewed the coffees always in the same recipe, and afterwards mixed it up and just had in the numbers and tasted the coffee. Because at the end, it's all about the taste.
I had the chance to dive so deep into the whole coffee process. It opened up a new whole world for me. I tried to incorporate all that I learned by him into the form. My aim was really to recreate the filter paper in porcelain because it's so wonderful. The wasted shape and the bulbous bottom is to keep the aroma inside. The opening up here is quite big again to enjoy the smell of the coffee. The bottom is a bit convex shaped so that the first drops of coffee are getting smashed and explode on the bottom.
It looks amazing. I really like it. And it's all for your senses, so you can hear it cracking into the grinder, you can hear the water boiling, you smell the coffee, you see how it's blooming. It looks really nice even while you're preparing it. When the coffee then tastes good, it's a perfect match.
Isn't it quite amazing how you can still improve after so many decades the art of creating good coffee? Absolutely amazing. So we're going to take you away from the kitchen, we're going to take you away from drinking coffee, and we're just going to go onto the seas, the lakes, the rivers, and there is something new around the corner, and that's called Remigo One. It's the world first integrated, one-size-fits-all, lightweight, electric outboard motor. Now, you know, just get your sails up and go along.
It's honest, it's clean, it doesn't hide anything under unnecessary covers or plastic, so all the functional parts are to be seen. And it's really simple and intuitive to use.
We are producing state-of-the-art electric outboard motors. Remigo One is the motor to replace all small gasoline outboards that we all love to hate.
So what's really different from other gasoline outboards and also electric ones is that we didn't use throttle on the handle. We removed it and then put everything, the steering control, on the two buttons on the interface, which are showing you the way you want to go. You can use the same outboard on any type of boat, up to 7 meters, 1.5 tons.
So Remigo One is manufactured right here in this workshop in Ljubljana, Slovenia. And in the exact room that we're sitting in right now is where the mechanical parts get assembled, and then outer frame is another room where the electronics.
We included our end users in every step of the design process. Boaters, sailors, racers, fishermen, nature lovers. They're really different.
So Remigo One is about inclusivity, so that anybody can use it.
I think design is probably the first thing that's going to grab someone's attention when they see the product. You know, we're not the only electric outboard motor out there. There's quite a few of them. But when people come to our stand at the trade show, you know, the first interaction that someone has with you, it's never, oh, you how many watts does this have? How many newtons of thrust is it? They come to it and say, oh, it looks beautiful. What is it?
Ladies and gentlemen, we are leaving the water level now, and we are reaching up towards the sky with our last finalist in this category, with Zigzag Boulder, a modular climbing system, wall system, which is designed to build with geometries similar to rocks, and they all want us to reach the sky, making climbing more accessible. Let's go.
One of the most important is in our products that you don't need anything else, just your own body weight and the structure. That makes simple and easy to use the products. The Zigzag Boulder is our second product. We know that the climbing is getting more popular, and we wanted to get in this market.
So we regard our products way more just simple sport equipment. We consider we have a mission to involve people from the urban spaces to use the city for activity and sport. So the design is one of the key factors, I think, of our company. The product is a modular system based on two modules, tetrahedron and octahedron. And you can combine these two modules, depends on your needs or depends on what you want to achieve in a public space. The structure is based on structural steel frame, and we cover the whole thing with plastic plates, and after that we can put the holes on. All of our routes, what we build, it's color-coded, so we can separate 6 different colors, and you can choose which one is yours. Maybe the yellow and the orange is the lightest one or the easiest one, and the black and the purple, it will be for the professionals.
Well, 4 out of roundabout more than 300. Quite an amazing feat, lots of stories behind the products, and I'm quite sure that I'd buy 1 or 2, mostly related to food.
We are ready to reveal the category winner. So for that, I welcome now Mr. Strasser here on stage, Parliamentary State Secretary for the Federal Ministry of Justice, coming from Germany. Thank you so much. You are going to reveal the award winner here on stage. The stage is yours.
Thank you very much. Executive Director Archambault, international guests, Ms. Verilac, representatives of the association and universities, and of course, esteemed finalists, ladies and gentlemen. Before I begin, Federal Minister of Justice, Dr. Buschmann, sends his regards. Much to his regret, he was unable to join us today, so I am delighted to be here instead. It is a great honor to be standing on this stage on behalf of the Federal Ministry of Justice to present the Design Europa Small and Emerging Companies Award. We just saw how much creativity and excellence SMEs in the European Union have to offer. The designs competing for the award illustrate this perfectly. I'm very pleased to see such fantastic designs from the particular segment. SMEs are a vital part of the German and the European economic landscape and engines of the economic growth. Here in Germany, 99% of all companies are SMEs. They employ more than half of all workers. Small and medium enterprises, with their flexibility and adaptability, are especially well suited to driving innovation. And in countries with limited resources, innovation are crucial to value creation and economic success. This also means that in a competitive environment, protecting those innovations is paramount. But this does not happen nearly as often as it should. Fewer than 10% of SMEs have registered even a single design, patent, or trademark. This is clear from the number of the applications received both by the EU IPO and the DPMA, the German Patent and Trademark Office, where applications are actually in decline. However, the effort and costs involved in registering intellectual property rights is actually much lower than many companies perhaps imagine. It is a modest investment that is well worth making. Intellectual property rights are strategic assets that can contribute significantly to a company's success. There is a lot to be gained from putting them to effective use, whether to boost revenue or as a springboard for further innovations. When a company registers a design, it is not just securing its own right to fully exploit that design. It is also taking effective action against potential copycats. I would therefore like to see even more SMEs making use of the opportunity to protect their innovations by applying for intellectual property rights. Please allow me at this point to convey my heartfelt thanks to the EU IPO, not just for hosting the Design Europa Awards with us here in Berlin, but also for our many years of close and fruitful cooperation. User-friendly procedures, a modern legal framework, and numerous measures designed specifically to support SMEs are key elements in ensuring a Europe-wide protection for innovations. Today's finalists made good use of these opportunities. Their outstanding creations are all registered community designs. This makes them valuable assets for the companies that own them. Each of them embodies a striking combination of functionality and aesthetics, and is fully deserving of a place in the final round of the Design Europa Awards, which are already in their 4th edition this year. The program for this awards ceremony provides an ideal setting for exchanging ideas and making new contacts. This is in keeping with the communicative function of design. I am delighted that of all places, Berlin, Germany's design capital, was chosen for this purpose. I would like to take this opportunity to express my sincere appreciation. On one hand, of course, for the finalists and their outstanding designs, and on the other, for the very existence of design as a form of intellectual property. The finalists of the Design Europa Awards are well aware of the importance of registering their ideas. That, alongside their exceptional creative achievements, is one of the reasons why they are standing on this stage today. I am inspired by their creations, and I think each of them deserves the prize. I am sure the jury's decision was a difficult one, and I do not envy them their task. It is a huge relief that rather than having to choose between the finalists myself, all I have to do is open an envelope Thank you very much. And so I am delighted to announce that the winner for the small and emerging companies category is Remigo, won by Remigo. Congratulations.
It's quite a surprise and emotional moment for me. Thank you, everybody. It's been quite a long time since we ventured on this journey with the goal that we set ourselves to make the outboard motors as users or sailors and boaters as we are would like it to be. So we knew that technology enables many different solutions, so we said, okay, let's start from the user point of view, not from the engineer's point of view. So the designer, Aida Bertok, who is not able to join us today, got quite a difficult task. She was not allowed to add anything, only allowed to remove not necessary thing. The product has to be intuitive, very simple to manipulate, to use, to carry around, so that we could enable as much people as possible to use it. And as we all know, the truly good designed product is able to evoke emotions. So that was probably the toughest part of the task that Aida got. So I would like to thank everybody who helped us in this journey. First, the partners of our company, Valentin, Jan, Tjaš, and of course Aida, the designer. Then I would like to thank Slovenian Enterprise Fund, who believed in our product and in the company at the very early stages. Then, of course, I would also like to thank to Slovenian Intellectual Office, who encouraged us to protect the intellectual property. You know, as startups, you're very tight on money and resources, so this is not the first thing that comes to your mind. But looking back, it was a very good decision, and every euro was very well spent. Last but not least, I would like to thank our investors who believe in us and will hopefully believe in future as well. If anybody would like to try or buy Remigo One, there's my contacts on the webpage, and you're welcome to contact me. Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. And greetings to the team. Thank you, Mr. Strasser, for revealing the winner, of course. And ladies and gentlemen, I think we are ready for the next category. Let's move on to the Industry Award category.
And in the Industry Awards, we have, again, 4 very different designs, 4 very different projects. They have one thing in common, and I think that's quite important to mention, that they all have registered community designs. And we know that that is one of the differentiators for European companies. After all, 20% of European economic output is derived by the bigger companies, and there are the small number of 35 million people are employed by these companies. Now, the question is, what is so special about actually registering by going through the process? Well, there's a study out there, and that is actually a no-brainer. We know that enterprises with intellectual property rights have double the revenue per employee. And if that's not all, then if they mix it, i.e. IP, and have the trinity of trademark, design, and patents, well, then they're often flying.
Absolutely. And today is the day when we recognize, of course, their leadership in exploring these ways and new forms and functionality to meet the needs of an industrial transition towards, when we look into Europe, a green and, of course, digital European economy. And this award shows the best examples of how to make it possible, how to make the most of the intellectual property and hopefully also to inspire others. So let's turn again our attention, ladies and gentlemen, to some of these inspiring approaches from our upcoming 4 industry category finalists.
So 4, 3, 2, 1, let's start with number 1, and I'm quite sure all of you do actually get something, packages, by mail, by post. And quite a number of you probably have problems getting them. Now, this is really innovative. It's called Cleveron, and you will see why it's clever.
We have saying in Cleveron that we don't predict the future, but we are creating the future. Cleveron is one of the few companies who is developing smart, innovative and quite huge parcel robotics, which can handle more than 1,000 packages in each store.
This is where you enter the parcels and pick them up later. All the parcels go through the same door. This is where you can scan the barcodes or QR codes to insert the parcels, and also from your phone when you get a message that you have to, or you can come and pick up your parcel. You don't have to do anything else. Everything else is done by the machine. I think good design for me is things that you don't notice actually, so that they are so easy to use, so that you don't have to think how to use them. They are just around you and you don't feel them, but in the end you enjoy them.
We have analyzed the market, and we see that smart parcel robots and lockers reduce the CO2 emissions by 70%. With parcel lockers or parcel robots, couriers can do just one delivery to parcel lockers and insert 100 packages to the locker. We are trying to keep the planet Earth in good shape.
Hi, it's me again, your coffee-loving moderator, having again good news for you. The second finalist of this category is the full automatic espresso coffee machine, meaning up to, watch out, 7 different types of coffee can be made. Let's have a look.
SMEG significa Smalterie Emiliane Guastalla, perché l'origine dell'azienda è legata a questa tipologia di prodotti, quindi cucine smaltate.
Quando siamo arrivati in SMEG, soltanto entrando all'interno di questo magnifico stabilimento, dove vedi una costruzione di guidocanali, e quando poi entri nella grande hall con tutte queste opere d'arte, hai un'idea di come questa azienda concepisca l'importanza dell'architettura, del design, dell'arte.
Dall'inizio con Raffaella abbiamo capito che quello che ci interessava del progetto, oltre alla questione dell'innovazione, era l'aspetto di empatia.
La relazione tra l'oggetto e la tecnologia è disastrosa, perché l'oggetto non comunica come funziona. Come faccio a disegnare un oggetto che immediatamente capisci che cosa vuole dire, come funziona, come ti parla, no? L'oggetto ci parla.
Questa macchina è una macchina full automatica, espresso, con una piattaforma tecnologica evoluta.
Quello che amo di più di questa macchina è la semplicità.
L'idea potrebbe essere un po' come riferimento quello di geode monolitico, quindi in cui c'è un volume puro molto definito, con un taglio che rivela, diciamo, un'altra essenza.
Dobbiamo disegnare delle linee che non invecchino nel tempo.
Che le persone vedano e pensano che sia sempre esistito.
Alla fine ti innamori di un oggetto e lo trattieni, lo mantieni e quindi in qualche modo l'oggetto diventa durevole e rimane con te per tutta la vita.
I'm very fascinated and honored, of course, to be up with Katie up here on stage. But what I love most is when people take the core of an idea, reduce it to the max, and then let it live in a completely different environment. And that's actually the idea behind Movo, because Movo is built on the principle of a Smith's knife. But you will see that now.
Swiss knife concept with this inspiration for model performance. Family company established in year 2000. We are a production company with design studio. We started with retail furniture. Afterwards, we developed that on hotel furniture and office furniture. Our strategic goal was to have our own product, to gather all the daily knowledge that we are gathering on project concepts, to gather all this knowledge into creating something our own.
We knew that we wanted to have a unit which is foldable, so you can easily close it, which is movable, so you can move your work from one room to another, which is lockable, so when you are done you can lock your stuff inside and nobody can get to it so easily. And we knew that we wanted to be fully equipped with power and USB charging. And the idea was to have this elegant and subtle design. We had this advantage to work in a production company, so we were close to production, to process. We were prototyping several times all the models, which was really helpful.
Movo is a result of the teamwork, close teamwork in which architects, engineers, and different production workers were involved. This is something what we do stable for more than 23 years.
Ladies and gentlemen, last but not least, in our industry category, we do have with me the collaborative chair that makes so much more possible and doable. Let's have a look.
When you talk about furniture or chairs, you need to think about something which minimalizes resources, which is easy to recycle, which is intuitively adjustable for the user, which is not taking too much space when packed and shipped, and so on. And we were looking for this kind of innovative ideas on the product side since a few years. And this was the moment when Martin Ballendat approached us with his idea of basically having a plastic part which by itself, by nature of plastic, allows for a movement and plays the role of chair mechanic. And because we like the idea, but also in a very big part because we have a very good and long experience of working with Martin. We immediately decided to focus on working with him on this project.
This is like a masterpiece of engineering work. His team and himself, they are able to create such, let's say, complicated, sophisticated elements. The result of this cooperation was basically the product of our dreams. Yeah? So with me offers to the user the most what the professional task chair, office chair can offer, but in a completely different form.
It looks good, it's very functional, it's very easy for people to handle because it adjusts itself. It's good to produce, it can be economically produced and shipped, and at the end, because of the materials used, because of the weight and size, it's a really environmental friendly and great product.
With me and with you always,
together.
Absolutely.
Okay, we've just seen those 4 designs, those 4 companies being portrayed, and of course, whilst all of them are great, there can only be one, and you know the person who will know who the one is.
Absolutely. I warmly welcome now on stage Isabelle Verliac. She is the chair of the Design Europa Awards jury. Welcome.
Good morning to you all. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here with all the finalists and all the jury members and this wonderful audience. First of all, as the former president of the Bureau of European Design Associations, BEDA, I really want to thank EUIPO for the commitment to promote design protection. BEDA is present in the jury of Design Europa Awards since the first edition in 2016. BEDA, as the network of design organizations, stands as the voice of design in Europe. It represents more than 50 designers' organizations, promotion centers from more than 25 countries in Europe. Our biggest job is to convince the companies, the politicians, of the need and value of design. It is so important to protect design. It's in the interest of the individual designers, the design agency, as much as businesses and public actors. And we need to start with young design students. So it's through collaboration that we will succeed. And EUIPO is a very important body from IPR angle. Design protection is an integral part of the design process. To protect design is one excellent way to show the value of design. So we are happy to join our forces through regular collaborations with EUIPO to follow the evolution of design fields due to the digitalization. New types of design are arising. I truly believe that design could believe and could help. I really believe that design could help to reach new solutions for climate change mitigations, sustainability, and inclusion. As the chair of the jury, I would like to thank the amazing members composed of design professionals, academics, entrepreneurs, former winners, and intellectual property experts. They draw on their experience and expertise in their given area to judge the proposals. I really appreciate the exciting and rewarding discussions we had, and we learned from each other, sharing our experiences, our thoughts about all these relevant products. So it was really challenging to select the winner, and all the applications are excellent in both categories and covering a so wide and diverse range of sectors. I thank all the nominees and finalists for their work to design new way of life. So, we had really lively discussions, and decisions are based on critically analyzing the merits of designs and their impacts. Then we reach consensus. The jury noticed that due to COVID-19 crisis, certain products were reflected of new changes to the way we work. Thanks to design approach, the projects could combine aesthetics, emotion, functionalism, circularity, and inclusion. It's why sustainability and environmental impact is so crucial. The challenges of the design sector is to serve as much as possible the economic, social, environmental issues that we are facing today. The new European Bauhaus initiative is a good flagship of the importance of this attitude and of the urgency to work together. I truly believe that design process is a powerful driver for cohesion and collaboration. So, building on the success of this edition and looking forward to the next, we would encourage companies, businesses, and designers to emphasize the implementation of a correct and coherent IP strategy and to continue to focus on innovation and sustainability as core concept. We look forward to seeing further solutions and products submitted to the next edition of the awards in 2025. But now, I think it's time to find out which is the winner of this category. Thank you. So, the winner is the full automatic espresso coffee machine by SMEG.
I'm very happy to be here and to receive the Design Europa Award for SMEG. From the very beginning, SMEG has made the design its hallmark of its business. And the idea of quality as a synthesis of beauty, functionality, and innovation has guided all the history of the company, which has collaborated with many important designers, turning its attention to the world of art in the broadest sense. And this included working with Deep Design, the designer of our full automatic espresso coffee machine. This award would not have been possible without their expertise and their creative flair. So many thanks to Matteo and Raffaella. And I would like to thank the jury for this award and the EU IPO. And this award is a great honor and pleasure for SMEG. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Now, I have actually heard a couple of notions that do not seem to have to do anything with the functionality of something. I've heard the word love from Isabella. We've heard the word passion, precision, not technology a little bit, resilience, very important. The one word that we haven't heard yet, or that I haven't heard yet, was the word creativity. And the great Maya Angelou once said, you can't use up creativity. However much you use it, there will always be more. And I believe that is definitely sure for our next awardee, for the next lady that is going to be here up on stage in a couple of minutes with her grand finale.
The Lifetime Achievement Award recognizes a woman whose
These are called blurbs, and sometimes the blurbs come at a different time than we think. So sorry.
The special award, the Lifetime Achievement Award, recognizes a woman whose talent and whose creativity has shaped not just the world of design, but also the life around us, everyday lives. And earlier this year, the EU IPO published a first of its kind study showing that only a quarter of designers in the EU are female. Only a quarter, let that sink in. And female designers earn 12% less on average than their male colleagues. 12% less than their male colleagues. Let that sink in. So she is truly a woman. She is standing up for more female designers, for more inclusivity in the field of design. And we're very excited now to visit her in her studio, but also in her garden.
Let's follow her into the garden.
We understood that even very small things could make big change in people's everyday lives. So that's how we began. I was born in the countryside. I lived in the countryside more or less till I was 18 years. And as I lived outside Nyköping, I was playing with my brother. He was one year younger than I was. I read and I'd sewed my own clothes and I'd painted and draw. After Nyköping, I moved to Stockholm, or Lidingö to begin with, where I was 1 year at the textile at Nyckelviksskolan, and then I continued to the Swedish State School of Art and Design, Konstfack, for 4 more years. But in 1968, there was a seminar, educational seminar, where I listened to lectures, for instance, by Victor Papanek, and that was an eye-opener. We learned about new areas that designers hadn't cared for earlier, and we wanted to change the world. During my last year, I switched from textile to industrial design, more or less. Well, I did some textile as well. So my diploma work was about design for children, for handicapped children, particularly for cutting things like bread, for instance. When we evaluated the model that we carried, 2 persons out of 15 said that they could suddenly cut, and they hadn't been able to cut bread for the last 15 years. And later on, we designed a knife for people who have no grip function at all. It's hang onto the hand, and then you support with the other hand like that and use it. We worked with medical doctors we needed, physiotherapists, occupational therapists, all kinds of different specialists. Early on, I began working with Sven-Erik Julin, who became my partner for more than 3 decades. We worked together close with the users because we visited them in their homes and got to know about their daily lives, from getting up in the morning till going to bed. These are models from a very early project that we call the Handles and Grips project, that was carried out for the Swedish Handicap Institute. And the aim was to develop new assistive devices and also ordinary mainstream everyday products that could be used by anybody. The knowledge that we gained from this research early on, we could apply that knowledge in other projects, like for instance the SAS coffee pot. They came to us because their cabin attendants had problems, severe problems, with their hands and arms. And of course, as designers often do, we began with questioning, do you need a coffee pot at all? And they did. And then we thought about how can we decrease the distance between the handle and the center of gravity. So we made 3 models, and these were evaluated in real life. One of the first times I flew, I asked how it worked, and they said, well, it's completely new type of work. So I got champagne because they were so happy about it. We were not the first that had worked with neither ergonomics or design for the disabled, but the way we did it was kind of exemplary in a way. Designing for people with disabilities became something of a Scandinavian speciality. And in 1988, MoMA made an exhibition on designs for independent living, where more than half of the products were from Sweden, and many of which we designed. Eventually, we opened up offices in other parts of the world. In New York, in Tokyo, for instance, to begin with. I like very much to live in Stockholm, and I still do, but I always long to get back here. And this is where I relax and also get energy. And I also learned to work in a slow space. I haven't done this work on my own. I will always work together with other people in teams. I would like to say to young designers of today, go out and change the world. We need that.
Why don't you get up and turn around? That applause is for you. You know you have to do that again. Because we, of course, will have a laudatory speech. We will have somebody who sort of to take us along, have an eagle's view, and who better than Christian Archambault, the Executive Director of EU IPO. Thank you so much for being here. And Maria, after that, you will be coming on stage.
Thank you. Thank you, Connie. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great pleasure to join you here today to present this Lifetime Achievement Award. I would first like to personally thank the General Federal Ministry of Justice, as well as my colleague at EU IPO, for their commitment to making this year's ceremony a landmark event for the design community. Over the past few years, we have borne witness to many global changes that have altered our lives, and challenged our established ways. We have said goodbye to an EU member state, seen a global pandemic, felt the rages of war on European soil, and been affected by the highest level of inflation in the Eurozone since record-keeping began in 1997. At EU IPO, and as many other IP offices across the globe, these circumstances have led to extreme volatility and unpredictability on our daily business. Public administrations, industry, citizens, we have all been affected. Yet, we have weathered the storm. We have emerged on the other side mostly intact, with new projections, new ideas, new responses. And these new ideas will help our economies to grow and contribute to a brighter future. Design is all about projecting forward. It is looking at the present and imagining new possibilities that can not only transform our lives today, but also help to create a better tomorrow. In the last 2 Design Europa Awards categories, we have seen many excellent applications and a diverse group of finalists who, through their innovative design, have contributed to improving our lives in their own unique way. Protecting their innovation through the registered community design is a vital part of ensuring that their creativity is properly rewarded. Here in Europe, we have top-class designers and innovators, and indeed, design is a huge asset to our economy, as was said before. Europe is also a place where innovators from all over the world can find a lucrative and stable business environment in which to flourish. It is therefore no surprise that a large number of registered community designs also come from outside Europe. China and the United States are number 2 and 3 in the top countries in volume of application. This is a clear indication of the importance of the European Union and design in the EU on the world stage. These designs are the innovations of the future, and they keep our economy growing, our society improving, and our children imagining. In our present time of rapid change and social political struggle, it is increasingly important to use creativity and imagination to design a future that is fairer, more inclusive, and more diverse. EUIPO recently published a landmark study on women in design. This was the first study focusing on women designers and the IP gender gap based on data from registered community design filings and Eurostat. It shows that female designers are underrepresented and underpaid, as we have heard before. Less than 1 in 4 designers is a woman, and they earn 12% less than their male counterparts. If the current trend continues, it will take another 50 years before we close this gender gap. So, ladies and gentlemen, we don't have 50 years. We shouldn't need 50 years. I have 2 granddaughters. The eldest one is 8, and I would like them to grow up in a world where they have the same chances and the same rewards as anyone else, no less because they are female. This future that we hope for has a greater chance of becoming reality thanks to designers like Maria Bengtsson, the winner of this edition's Lifetime Achievement Award. This category of award is reserved for individual designers with a significant body of work of great aesthetic value, created over the course of a career, which has also had a demonstrable impact on the marketplace. Maria Bengtsson's work has not only had a considerable impact on the marketplace, she has literally changed some people's lives. She has been committed to innovating ordinary objects to allow people to be more independent, while also combining fine art sensibility into everyday life. In a nutshell, she makes objects of daily use more accessible to everyone, disabled or not, as well as aesthetically pleasing. The Knork, for example, is a combination of a knife and fork and was designed for people who were unable to use both hands to eat. It is an elegant and functional design that at times was revolutionary. Throughout her career, her work has reflected the history of equality-driven aesthetics integration with utility that has been a hallmark of Swedish and Scandinavian design since the mid-1900s. A true example of design at the service of a better, more inclusive future. Maria Bengtsson, it is my great honor to present you with this Lifetime Achievement Award and also to give you a big thank you on behalf of granddaughters everywhere. Thank you very much, and please come to the stage.
Thank you. I'm overwhelmed. I wish to thank the European Union International Property Office, the Design Jury, and each and everyone who contributed to this prize. I'm very glad and honored being the first woman to receive this award. When my grandmother received a Lifetime Award for raising 14 children, she said, "It's a simple, everyday task." This was my everyday task. Each era has its own challenges and opportunities. Inclusive design of today is about more than physical objects and environments. It becomes tangible every time I encounter obstacles with digital products and services. A detailed knowledge of end-user behavior is as important today as it was when we started 50 years ago. In other words, to quote McKinsey Design, to gather first-hand insights by observing and understanding the underlying needs of potential users in their own environment, end quote. Much of what we did had no name. When the book Function Rules was published in 2006 about ergonomy design's work, Staffan Bengtsson, editor-in-chief at the Swedish design magazine Form, said, "Ergonomy design don't do nouns, they do verbs after serving on board. With today's vocabulary, this is called customer journey." Most of what I've done together with others. Even my degree project at Konstfack, the University of Arts, Craft and Design. But not only other designers, also other professionals, like occupational therapists, physiotherapists, doctors, psychologists, and more, depending on the assignment. Through this, I learned a lot, and it's been truly enriching. With one person, I collaborated for more than 3 decades in a team of 2. His name is Sven-Erik Julin. Our collaboration began with a gripping tong. 3 young male designers and 3 young men in wheelchair designed a gripping tong that looks like a weapon. I'm assigned to evaluate. The tongs are superior, but far too big for women and weak arthritic hands. This is our first lesson, the importance of knowing whom you design for. You and I become a team of 2, a group within the group. We are different, but want the same, to make change. We have trust. We have fruitful friction. You have a strong will and a sharp eye for form. You are passionate to draw. I accept. You are better drawing than I am. I draw, you interfere. You draw, I correct. You draw and draw and draw. I interfere. You accept, we change. We test new ways. We visit people in their homes. We are invited to coffee. We ask about everyday things. We observe ways of doing. We analyze, try all possibilities with models and prototypes. We learn that even very little things can make a difference between pain and painlessness, between being able to and not being able, between unworthiness and dignity. None of what we did could have been done without the other. On that we agree. You call it synthesis. Thank you, Sven-Erik. Finally, I would like to thank all the end users who shared their experiences, who let us into their homes and workplaces, sometimes to share very private and sensitive topics. Without your trust, our work would not have been possible. Thank you all.
Christian, Maria, thank you so much for sharing your life story, your design story.
Thank you so much for what you've done. And this brings us already to an end of this year's Design Europa Awards, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here today in Berlin. Thank you also from wherever you were watching us today for being with us here in beautiful Berlin virtually. And also a big thank you goes also to the European Union Intellectual Property Office and of course to the German Ministry for Justice.
And of course, our thanks and congratulations to all the winners, to everybody who's put in a design. So if any of the 700 are here in this room, congratulations to you too. We've already said 3 times that the jury was great, so I don't think I need to add that. And of course, everybody who's actually been involved, you've all done a great and splendid job. And I know under normal circumstances we forget about them. Thank you very much to the technicians and to the crew who made everything possible and flow seamlessly.
Thank you so much, ladies. And just as a little reminder to the winners, please don't run away after the award. Come on stage for a photograph when we are finished here.
You know, if there hasn't been a photograph, it hasn't happened. I mean, that's social media for you. Yeah, with that, actually, we're done. We hope that you will have a great lunchtime and lots of exchanges. And maybe just let's be a bit soppy. You know, love is all around us, design too. And with those words, we wish you a fantastic day here in Berlin. And who knows, we might see each other again on a next stage for the 5th edition.
All the best for you. Goodbye.